Ridiculous questions.
Meticulously debated.
This is Tell Me I'm Wrong.
Well, I was happy just last night. I've been losing sight. Citing all the falling fights. What is this if this ain't right? Back again, the monster rights. Losing life until that night. Life never let him lie. Light is my fire passes way.
Tell me I'm wrong. This is your main man behind the booth. I'll be moderating this week, Joe. How y'all doing tonight?
I was doing a lot better before that.
Also, if you're behind the booth, no one would hear you. You have to be in the booth.
You have to be in the booth, Joe. Nope. Ryan?
So I'm Ryan, and I'm going to be debating this week. And our first debate will be, do we let Joe continue with the show?
I'm Josh. I'm going to be your other debater, and I'm going to side on no with that one.
Yeah.
This has been a failed experiment. We apologize to all of our listeners.
Yeah, you're going to need to prove yourself, Joe.
Jock.
Okay. I tried. I wanted to do something different, something fun. Bunch of killjoys over here.
You just
so
no. I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to give it a little energy,
you liked
get
it?
people
You
excited.
liked it?
I wouldn't say I liked it, but that was like a radio introduction.
Like
that's
a strong
drive
word.
Time. Yeah. Could you do let's just go the opposite direction before
NPR.
we go and find a good middle. Can you give us like an NPR intro? Like,
give me your best
real
hourglass.
Soft and slow. Here, Ryan. Let's give Joe a shot here. Just we'll be quiet. Go ahead, Joe.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. Welcome back to Tell Me I'm Wrong. This is your moderator, Joseph. Tonight we have a couple of great guests lined up for you. Sit back, enjoy, and have a great time. The time is 8:02. Thank you.
Josh, did you know that we had a perfect NPR host on our show?
I didn't know we were in the presence of an NPR superstar. Okay, so that was perfect, Joe. Now, what we need to do is we need to marry somewhere in the middle there. So you're at 150%. You're down to like 0%. I need a 75% intro. Can you give us that?
Yeah. Hey, guys, what's going on? I'm Joe. Tonight on Tell Me I'm Wrong, I'll be your moderator. My main two guys with me are going to help me out. You guys go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hey, this is Ryan. I'm debating this week.
I'm Josh. I'm also debating this week. And Joe, that was beautiful.
Thanks.
Crushed it.
I feel like I got some good practice in there, and I'm ready. I'm just kidding. I won't do that no more.
Nope.
No, don't do it anymore.
Okay. All right.
If you talk like that again, I'm going to smack you.
Well, you're not in my house, so that's impossible. But yeah.
I will drive to your house and smack you. I'm not above it.
That's okay. As long as you do it from 6 feet, that's all that matters.
Why don't you, Joe, why don't you just, let's introduce the topic now at 75%, and we'll progress on our way down through this podcast. We
spitballed back and forth on what we should talk about this week. And while we were talking, I was just kind of scrolling through Facebook. You know, that's a dangerous place right now anyways. In between
don't do
Mother's Day announcements, graduations, flags in yards, and talking about what's on Netflix. Every other post is about whether or not the government, the governor, whoever has the right to do what they do. A fired doctor who knew about the coronavirus in 2004 and predicted it on a Simpsons episode. It's just nuts. So it comes down to everything is two, good, bad. You've got conservative versus liberals, Democrats versus Republicans, left wing versus right wing. There's one bad, there's one good. There's Louisville who's bad, there's Kentucky who's good.
Hell's down.
It's just it came down, and then I was like, okay, what is the ultimate struggle? And I thought about it, and I thought Marvel versus DC, which universe reigns supreme?
Real hardcore topic. Something that's really going to get people up in arms. I can already feel it.
Well, but I mean, people are very passionate about this. It's a lot of them are you either like one or the other. I mean, everybody likes Marvel, and there's 4 dudes out there that like DC, but they really like DC.
Aren't you one of those people? Didn't you say you have a bunch of comic books next to you?
Like, I'm a big Batman fan. If you ask, you can ask Josh, or I guess you too. If you come to my house, my password used to be something related to Batman for my Wi-Fi.
I remember
and
that.
the Wi-Fi's name was Wayne Manor. So I'm a pretty big Batman fan. So I do like DC. Now the new movies are terrible, but overall I like DC.
Yeah, well, this is Josh, by the way. I'm just going to jump in here preemptively because I unfortunately got roped into doing this, and I know nothing about either. So this is going to be a real interesting one for me. I tried to be moderator this week, but Joe and Ryan decided to bully me into being a debater, and I'm likely going to embarrass myself on this podcast. So I just want to say from the outset, if it is the year 2022, you just discovered our podcast, you're listening back through the archive, you come to this episode, and you hear me say something dumb, if you tweet me, I'm going to show up to your house with the 1,000 Chuck E. Cheese tickets that I got last week.
That he's kept for 2 years.
And I'm going to take care of things like I'm Rick Rat taking care of Connor. So I need you to put down your phone, whatever social media is popular at that time when we're all communicating on Kibi or whatever that thing is. And I need you to put down your phone, think about what you're doing with your life, and not talk to me. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm excited to get in this debate, guys. I think this is going to be great.
Listening.
Thanks for listening. A minor threat. Now we're going to get into the meat of the show.
I think most good podcasts have minorly threaten their listeners.
We do
right?
want you to interact with the podcast. Just maybe don't interact with Josh about this particular episode. That's all he's saying. So I think the best thing for y'all to do tonight is to build a cabinet with the idea that I'm creating a new government, a new world order, if you will, an NWO for life. And I need you to make it to where I have to vote for your group. I can't, my country won't survive without your leadership.
Ryan, since I won last week, right, Joe?
Yeah, you won. You finally won. That's right. I finally was beat.
Since I won last week, I'll let you go first, Ryan. I'll give you the advantage of coming out of the gate.
All right. We're starting at the top. The head man. Listen, this pick is not going to surprise anyone. His name is Captain America. But he was made for this position. Literally, he was made for this position. He showed leadership. The reason that he was chosen to become the super soldier. He is willing to make the hard choices. He is willing to stand up to his friends and for his friends when he needs to. He is respected by the everyman because he was an everyman. He is always there to fight against the bullies, and that is the kind of man we need in office. He is going to fight for the everyman. He is going to stare down those bullies, and he is going to make the hard choices. Steve Rogers, Captain America 2020.
Plus, he has America's ass.
That's right. It is America's ass.
Yeah, that got me a little misty-eyed there, feeling very patriotic. That's a very nice start you have there, Ryan. But I think what you're not paying attention to is the fact that Joe mentioned that this is going to be a new nation. And while having some patriotism for your new nation is always great, the one thing that you want to do is expand and grow your country. So what you need is to have a government that is set up to take power, take control, overtake other countries.
No.
And so what you need to have is a government that is set up with, obviously some heroes, but we're looking for like some people who maybe make some choices that aren't so great or do some things that aren't ideal. And so to kick that off, I'm going to start with my head man.
I think, Josh, I think the term you're looking for here is actually anti-hero.
Sure. If you want to use the lingo of the subject, I assume.
Yeah, anti-hero is what you're
then you would
for.
say anti-hero. So with my first anti-hero, we're going to focus on the head man. Now, I recognize that when I say who my pick is for president, that the guys are going to scoff because it seems so simple. But I picked Bruce Wayne, aka Batman. Listen, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Some doozies from both of you coming out of the gate.
I know, but listen to me. Here's the thing. Ryan's going to sell you all this hokey patriotism stuff. What I'm going to give you is a government that can actually A, win the election, and B, dominate the world. So we need someone who's gonna be the leader that we need, and that is Bruce Wayne. And here's why. there's nothing more that most people in most countries love more for their presidential candidate than a man who is rich, not with his own money.
You forgot to say white.
A white man who has inherited money from his rich parents, was born on third base thinking he hit a triple, and is just generally aloof and arrogant. Bruce Wayne takes the cake there. Secondly, he's already rich. He grew up rich, so he's well connected. There are people who want to be around him just for his money. So he's going to be able to easily finance his campaign, something that a fledgling country wants, because we can't be spending our own, we got to be careful. We need someone rich who can take that risk on their own.
Yeah, we need more rich people in office.
Exactly. For this particular country, we do. Listen, like I said, you can take your route.
I will.
Your hopeful, patriotic, route to this new country, but I'm looking to do the right thing. And so that's why I'm going to put Bruce Wayne up as my presidential nominee, and we are going to take over the world.
I like to point out that you say he inherited his fortune. Well, technically you're right. That inheritance came after he watched his parents be brutally murdered in an alleyway.
Exactly. That's great for a 60 Minutes piece. We'll sell tons of ads.
It's not a
we'll
bad
get
point.
all of the eyeballs. It's a sob story that will help him win election. I can just see it in the ads right now.
Survivor.
Yeah. I mean, exactly.
Who else is a survivor?
That's a story you can sell.
A man who's over 100 years old and fought in 2 world wars. All right.
That's true.
But it's genetically modified. Continue.
That's right. Genetically modified to be president forever. All right. Here we go. The VP. We are coming to the office that is always the elderly man. And so the pick that I went with was the eldest man, and that is the god of thunder, Odin's son, Thor. He is over 1,500 years old, and he has fought in many wars. He is the military veteran that everybody wants as their vice president. He works
also sexy, which is underrated.
He looks great for his age.
He'd be the sexiest old man vice president since Joe Biden.
Wait, is it
seriously,
like Ragnarok Thor or like Endgame Thor? Does he have the gut?
So my actual favorite Thor is Infinity War Thor.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Because I like the battle scar with, the post Ragnarok battle
short
scar
hair.
And the short hair, but he's also, he's realized his full power.
No, okay. And Stormbreaker's
yeah.
Stormbreaker's
and
bad.
Stormbreaker's important.
This is a fascinating conversation.
Yeah, because all the things that we're referencing.
Yeah, made total sense to me.
I think the other important point is Thor has led and has been led. He knows how to inspire, and he also knows how to be a hype man. He is able to bring things. He knows how to bring things out of people. He is able to build those up around him, and I think he is the perfect running mate to go with our Captain America, our Steve Rogers. I think that this ticket is going to be built on hope, and it's going to be built on focusing on the future and the paths that we have to take forward.
When you said Thor as a hype man, I just couldn't help but picture him as Flavor Flav on a concert stage as a rap saying, "Yo, yo, yo, what's up? It's Odin's son."
Yes. That is definitely
Thor's
rap name.
throwing up Mjolnir and lightning crashing over the stage.
Listen, you don't even need to pay her for pyrotechnics because he can just literally light the stage up.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Right.
That's a good pick. And he's noble.
Listen. He also comes from a lineage of leaders. With Odin is the Allfather.
He is, but his sister is also the goddess of death and tried to kill everybody and destroyed Asgard.
Listen, everybody's got a family story. It's like Josh said. That's an excellent story. Maybe he is able to reconcile, or maybe he kills Hela like he actually does with Ragnarok. And then it's an inspiring story about how he overcame his evil sister.
That's true.
However, as you mentioned in Endgame, which is the most recent superhero movie I've seen, know a lot about it. He does fall off the wagon a little bit. And
who doesn't love a comeback story? Who doesn't love?
But it's going to be real easy for my campaign to paint him as emotionally unstable. And we see how that went in the last
emotionally
election.
Unstable when your president is Bruce Wayne.
He's too emotional.
So I'll just go ahead and shut that down real quick.
He's too emotional to be in office. Listen, as a man who is prone to eat a lot, grow his gut, and get depressed from time to time, I understand that. It's debilitating.
Listen, it's also my campaign is built on the everyman, and if you're showing that the God of Thunder is able to come back from a depression that a lot of people experience, they're going to be able to relate to that. So good luck, VP. Sure. Who you got?
Okay. Well, actually, I'm not going to introduce my VP yet because the one thing that you overlooked in your campaign to be the most patriotic person is you overlooked the second most important person in any administration, which is the press secretary. Now, hear me out. You got to have someone who's going to have your back.
Let me see where you're going with this. I'll give you a chance. You got to have
someone who's going to have your back no matter what. You have to have someone who's going to go out there and lie for you when you need it, hype you up when you do something right. Especially when your president is Bruce Wayne. Exactly. So who better to be the press secretary for Bruce Wayne than Robin himself, Batman's sidekick? First, built-in rapport with the president. He already knows him. They have a relationship. He's going to know how to control that relationship to spin it with the press. Secondly, no age requirement for the position. Doesn't matter that he's a teenager. He can be your press secretary. Third, he's always going to have Bruce Wayne's back. He trusts him. He believes him like a naive child. And that is exactly what you need out of your press secretary, is a naive child who will go out there and lie for you. Fourth.
Josh, which Robin?
Excuse me?
Which Robin
which Robin?
I think there's
at least 3.
I know of 3.
I'm talking about the Robin.
No, they're all Robins. Well, one's technically Nightwing and Night Vale. But
I love DuckTales, but I don't think Robin was in it.
Oh my gosh.
He was not Nightwing.
Not Darkwing Duck.
Oh. Well, guess we're all learning something new today. I'm going to stick with the original, the Robin.
So the Robin.
The Robin. The one we all know and love. The Robin. That is the person. That is the only Robin in the JBU.
The JBU.
So, before I was really interrupted, let me get to my fourth point, which is possibly the most important one about having Robin in this position, which is that he is a child, as I said, and that makes him appear largely harmless, which means he can go out there and the press is just going to eat it up. They're going to be like, look, he is so cute trying his best, that little high schooler. Look at him, just doing the best he can for the president.
He gets younger.
What a trooper.
Every point you bring up, I think he's getting younger.
Listen, you want to send a toddler out there to give your press briefing.
I have a quick question.
First off, no, I'm going to debate this toddler point. Toddler is a better press secretary. 1, make more coherent points than most of the people that are in there. 2, always tell the truth. 3, lovable.
Toddlers do not always tell the truth.
Also, let me ask you a question. If Bruce Wayne, who we also know as AKA Batman, is going out at night as a vigilante of justice fighting crime, what is going to happen? And you're saying Robin will always tell the truth. What is going to happen when a reporter goes, excuse me, Robin. Yeah, where was the president of the United States last night?
They're going to say the same thing that they always do. He is in bed with a woman.
But that's a lie.
That's not a lie, and it makes him sound cool.
To Josh's point, he did say that the press secretary was going to be ready to lie. So,
but then he also said he always tells the truth.
So great.
Whatever
points.
The truth is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
right.
what you're saying is he shows versions of the truth.
Robin.
So like real life.
No. Listen, I made very valid points there. Let's go back to Ryan so that he can try his
number
best.
3.
So episode title going to be Toddlers Tell the Truth or something like that.
I have a toddler. They don't tell the truth.
All right. So third pick, I am going education because
it's the backbone of any country.
I work in education, and if you have studied history, education is the way forward and the way that countries improve. And I believe the best Marvel pick for Secretary of Education is Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. He is an advocate for education. He has many PhDs, and the other part is you also really don't want to piss him off. And I think it's time we really get some muscle in the corner for our teachers. So I think maybe he can finally get our teachers paid well, because who is going to stand up to the Hulk when he's defending the salary of our teachers?
That's a good point. Now, I do have a very specific question. Is he going to be the Hulk, or is he going to be Bruce Banner? Or is he going to be Hulkalo, the combination of Bruce Banner and the Hulk from Endgame?
One, Bruce Banner and the Hulk occupy the same body, so he will be Bruce Banner and he will be the Hulk. Two, we are not getting into your Hulkalo fan fiction. You can save that for another episode.
I'm a Hulkalo truther.
I'm not convinced you don't write it.
You did talk about that for like 10 days after Endgame. It was kind of uncomfortable.
I'm actually convinced that the only thing that you care about in any comic book universe is your Hulkalo obsession. Listen,
I went to that film. We sat together, had a great time. I had a great time. And listen, I saw Hulkalo pop up on screen, and sometimes you get a little confused in life.
I think you saw Hulkalo through bourbon slushy glasses.
Listen, like I said, I was having a good time. I showed up at the theater, excited to see a movie that I cared about 25%. And then they had bourbon slushies, and I was all there. I had a great time. It was a great day.
All right, let's hear your third pick.
All right, so for my third pick, so I've covered our president, our press secretary. Now I'm going to go to the next most important. My number 3 pick is the person who's going to operate in the administration as kind of the lone wolf, the rogue. You're not supposed to have a great relationship with them. They're supposed to appear independent from you, and that is Attorney General. So, who better to be your Attorney General than someone who kind of opposes Batman and Bruce Wayne anyways? And that's Superman. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, Superman's not qualified. Superman's a reporter. But the thing is he's also not a qualified journalist, and nobody's asked Clark Kent any questions about that. No one's figured it out yet. He could absolutely be a lawyer. So we're going to put Superman in there. He's got the hair. He's got the look. He just looks like someone who's going to be in there to hold Bruce Wayne to account and really seem like he could stand up to him if he does something that's out of line. But he's not going to, because
I think putting Superman in the Attorney General spot is actually probably one of your smarter picks. I think having your invincible person, well, not invincible, but you know what I mean.
Well, I thought about making him president, but he's from Krypton and he doesn't qualify, so got to put him somewhere else in the line. So now that I've given you 3 smart picks, why don't you give me your next one, bud?
All right. So to recap, Captain America, president. Thor, vice president. Bruce Banner, leading our young people as the Secretary of Education. 4th pick, I am going with Secretary of Defense. I think that this is a very important position, especially in this new universe, this new world that Joe is building. I think having the capability of defending your country and defending it well is going to be very important. And with that choice, I am going with an unconventional pick for defense. That is Peter Parker, a.k.a. Spider-Man.
That's unconventional. I'm excited to hear.
Seems like an odd one.
Now, the reason I went with this is because in my platform, I am building this based on hope. I am building this based on a vision of the future, the way that we can build this country in a new direction. And part of that is going to be Peter Parker is not one that is excited to kill people like, some of the other superheroes that have come up. He is always trying to just be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So having him in this position, I think really, really flips the position on its head. You give someone the power to make these decisions that isn't always looking to seek out conflict, that's looking to have a witty comment every now and then. But other than that, he is the perfect pick for the Secretary of Defense.
Now, you say perfect pick, but I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm not going to lie. I'm not much of an aggressor, but I feel like if I was one of our brave servicemen or servicewomen in our armed forces, I don't know that I would be inspired to to fight our enemies by Tom Holland.
I also don't know if we want a Secretary of Defense who's 17.
Listen, I'm gonna make this case here. If you are a frontline army infantryman, and you have somebody in the Secretary of Defense that is always going to be looking out for your well-being, is always going to be trying to make the choice that is going to have the most people survive, the most people come to the most peaceful resolution, that is someone I will follow.
No, that's fair. No, I got you.
That's fair. So on that same account, I'm going to make the debate for toddler as Secretary of Defense. First, jealous. Do not want to share.
Please stop and move on to your fourth pick.
No. Second, they will tell you what they're thinking and not hide their feelings. Third, they have no conscience.
No conscience.
That's my case for toddler Secretary of Defense. Now, I'm going to go to my fourth point. So my fourth person I selected, and looking at this, I thought, I probably need a powerful Secretary of State. That's definitely useful. But just like you said, you got to have a Secretary of Defense, especially if I'm looking for world domination. So I'm going to put Aquaman into that position.
Oh, terrible pick.
Great pick. Why is it a terrible pick, Ryan? No.
Yeah. Are you on an island?
Right. No, we are not. But if we are, depending on where we're located, most of the cities that these movies take place in are near an ocean. You're going to have to defend that border. You're going to have to defend your beaches.
But on top of that, he's the leader of the Navy.
So are you saying that someone who was very involved with the Navy could never become Secretary of Defense? They could only ever do the Navy?
Ooh, no, I'm Navy just saying most of what he can do is all based in water. So
you're saying that he has no experience with, fighting enemies and destroying the Axis powers? Because my friend Aquaman summoned the power of the various crustaceans and fish and all of his friends that live down there under the sea. And they took down several German U-boats. Seems pretty important to me. Fighting the Axis powers, helping America win World War II.
Yeah, you got to watch out for all those U-boats right now.
Listen, you never know.
Listen, I did not know that much about Aquaman, so I will tip my cap to you in the U-boat category, but I still feel like
second, who's going to inspire our men and women of the armed forces more than Jason Momoa? Ripped, got a beard, flowing hair.
Yeah.
Why don't you put our two Secretary of Defenses up on a debate stage and see which one they want leading the armed forces? Yeah, I think the answer is going to be pretty clear.
I'm for that. You put Peter Parker on the stage with Aquaman, and I think he's gonna tear him a new one.
I think you're misguided. So listen, you can.
All right, let's get to the last
pick.
Let's get to the last pick.
No, you've
made your points. You've made your points. Secretary of State.
Sounds like someone's getting a little shaken. Go ahead, Ryan.
Secretary of State. Here we go. The Secretary of State was probably my most difficult pick in the Marvel universe because of all of the worldly choices that there are. But there was one clear superhero that stood above the rest, and that is King T'Challa of the Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Black Panther, I knew I wanted to use him in my government because he is one of the most charismatic. He is also has a suit of vibranium, which, like, how can you turn that down?
Totally.
And I thought he could fill a lot of roles, but the reason that I chose him for Secretary of State was because of actually this will be the only a little bit darker choice that I make in my government here. Black Panther is able to infiltrate and able to do a lot of things that I think the other choices that I've made are not. And I feel like putting him in the Secretary of State position would allow us to really work on relationships that we have across the world and build relationships with those that we want to build relationships with and intimidate those that we need to intimidate. I think he also would play a very large role in getting policy and legislation passed because of the relationships that he has across the world. And I think that the Wakandan king is going to be able to build bridges and mend a lot of those broken relationships. I rambled there. Sorry.
Not to mention you have access to all that vibranium.
Listen, the vibranium might come up. It's always good to have in your back pocket, and the resources that he has available may come up. But
I hear your choice, but I have a question.
Who is Black Panther?
He's already a king. So what's the selling point here to make him come and take a lesser title for your new country?
Listen, Thor is also a king currently.
I did not know that.
So why don't you step off here for a second?
Actually, Thor is not the king.
Theoretical.
He gave that up
because Odin died. Well, okay, yes, but technically, yes. Anyway, Josh trying to school me on who's a king and who's not. The Black Panther is always there. Wakandans are reaching out to try and join the world. And so the way that he joins the world is he starts a wonderful relationship with this country while still leading the other country.
And he's got those cool ships, so he can fly back and forth, no problem.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, I see your points. Now, I'm going to get into my last pick here. So, obviously, like I mentioned, I haven't named a Secretary of State yet. I don't have a Secretary of Education, Health and Human Services. But based on our platform, that's not what we need. What we need is, we have an unscrupulous president. We have a lying press secretary. We have a bearded, rugged-looking, ocean-dwelling Secretary of Defense. And we have a strong, focused, respectable Attorney General. What we need is someone who's going to distract everybody from all the bad that's going on, because they're just there to make appearances, draw eyeballs, and be the lovable one in the administration. That would be the vice president. Perhaps, in my opinion, the least important position within the cabinet, because what are your real duties? So, in order to accomplish my goal of being a complete distraction, I did a lot of research because there are so many DC characters that I have immense knowledge about that I could have pulled from. But I discovered one that I think is the right pick, and that would be Taki-Tani. Now, if you're not familiar with Taki-Tani...
Deep dive.
Exactly. Deep dive. I know what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar with Taki-Tani, like I wasn't, he is a member of the Shazam family, if you have seen that film. And he is a humanoid tiger who likes to wear tweed suits and conduct himself like a gentleman, according to the official DC website. And I can't think of a more likely candidate to be a complete distraction from all the bad things that my administration is doing to take over the globe than a talking tiger in a suit.
I feel like you just described Ron Burgundy.
Essentially. Very similar.
If Ron Burgundy were a tiger, is that... I have never heard of Taki-Tani.
Well, now you have, because I have schooled you with my immense DC knowledge.
You have schooled me.
I will be completely honest here on my last point. I don't have any other talking points for Taki-Tani. I don't think I need them. He plays his role perfectly as a distraction, and that's all we need.
He plays into your platform.
So basically, you're going with the George Bush style vice president. You got to have your vice president shoot someone in the face just to distract and get things off of you.
Oh no, Taki-Tani is not the shadow president. He is his own thing. He's more like remember when Barack Obama put the medal on Joe Biden and cried and everybody loved it? That's Taki-Tani. He's just cute.
Gotcha.
Right. And that's all you need.
Gotcha.
I rest my case. I feel very good about where we're at.
Well, these are definitely some of the most let's see, what is the word?
Educated, well thought out arguments you've ever had.
I'm trying to think of the word.
Meticulously debated?
Unique government cabinets that I've ever heard of. Mm-hmm. They're very unique.
Yeah, so maybe we should go to the
There's a lot to think
office.
about. Yeah, let's go. You guys want to come hang out and see my office?
Yeah, let's do it.
No, it's cool.
Guys,
it's cool. I've actually got a movie on in there. I was watching Guardians 2. That first scene where Baby Groot's dancing. Mr. Blue Sky.
No, I had a pretty bad experience in there last week, and I know you.
That was a dream. No. Just come on.
Okay. Come on. I'll come, but I'm not walking inside.
No, it'll be fine. Let's go.
Let's go.
So what do you guys think of the new digs, man? I got the
it looks great.
Got an 85-inch screen, nice.
Wow,
yeah, it's big.
It hurts my eyes just a little bit, but it's almost like good.
It's really bright.
I love it because I can see it all the way back.
Josh, come in.
Josh, are you just standing in the door?
Yeah, I'm not coming.
What? Why?
I'm not coming in. I don't know if you remember what happened last week, but when I went to your office, I got transported to another dimension. And apparently you all were just
what are you
minding your own
talking
business.
about? We were literally just chilling. We watched the Blair Witch Project and it was fine.
Yeah, I bet you watched the Blair Witch Project. I lived it. So I'm going to stay back here.
Hey Joe, why don't we can we turn the lights down, because Guardians is one of my favorites.
Yeah, no, I've got this cool remote that does everything. Hold on a second.
All right, I'm going
to turn the lights down, turn the volume way up, because Mr. Blue Sky by Styx is a killer song.
Guys,
why, Josh?
Well, first off, we're supposed to be reading ads in here. This is not movie time. And secondly, I don't like the lights down. It's scary.
Hold on. I'll turn them back up real quick. I don't have an ad for you in the moderator's office today, but I do have something cool. Do y'all know we're on Twitter, and we actually had someone tweet a quarantine house to us. We had a couple people tweet some quarantine houses to us, and they were good. They weren't as good as mine. Just saying, I'm the champion. I won that. Tim Toolman Taylor. We had a couple people tweet us.
Man, that's all the way back to episode 1. That's a deep cut.
That is a deep cut. We had Ellen Sanders. It goes by I Love Bentley on Twitter. We had Alyssa Wright at AMS Wright on Twitter, but by far, I think, a terrible, terrible house. So Derek Operly goes by at D Operly on Twitter, gave us a house with Kramer, Kelly Kapoor. I didn't watch the show, but I'm not sure who the other guy is, and Archie from Archie Bunker. Oh, yeah. And then Steve Irwin from Family Matters. Wait, no.
Not Steve Irwin.
No, Steve Urkel from Family Matters. That's how annoying he is. I don't even know his name.
Steve Irwin's my favorite character on Family Matters.
When he comes Stefan, well, that's quite a transition. But
Stefan Irwin.
Yeah, Stefan Irwin, yes. Thanks for the love, man. And remember, if you do hashtag TMIW pod, you may get a shout out on the episode. All right, guys, I think I've got an answer for us. Let's head back up. Okay, well, now that we're back up here in the room, I think I got a few questions for you all. Looking at governments today, in today's society, how do you feel like your government will be able to handle a scandal? Whether it be part of, someone did something wrong in their past, a cigar incident in the Oval Office. How do you think you're going to handle scandals? Because it's going to happen, guys. I don't care if it's Captain America. It's going to happen. So how are you going to handle scandals?
I'll go first. This ticket is all based on hope. We are building for the future. And one of Captain America's best qualities is that he is a straight shooter. If there is a scandal, he is going to face it head on. He is going to address it, and he is willing to make the hard choices. If he needs to remove somebody from office, if he needs to, make that hard choice to save the country, to save the government, he is going to make that choice. And those below him will support his decision.
Okay, that's good. Josh?
That was very fluffy and wonderful. I'm going to...
like a true politician.
Yeah. Well, we're going to handle our business like true politicians, and that is with the word of the day, which is cover up. So we're going to send Robin out there. First off, if it's anything like it's a little too out there, a little too inappropriate, you can't hear it because of his virgin ears.
You're going to fake
So he's going to immediately cover his ears and just not answer the questions because he's a child and he shouldn't be
He's
here.
a toddler.
Secondly, if it's something else related to, I don't know, arms dealing or things like that, he's just going to play dumb and he's going to say, we would never do anything like that. Bruce Wayne is an admirable man who has done so much for the community with his money. He came from nothing after his parents died. He had nothing, but he built this enterprise as a child up to what it is today. He inherited it and brought it to the place that it is today. And they're going to talk about all these things that are completely unrelated to whatever happened. And then people are just going to forget about it, and we're just going to move on. And so, I mean, you ask
you're basing yours on the 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
Just deflect.
Listen, Bruce Wayne's going to have some intern in the Oval Office. But listen, 12 hours from now, it's going to be
Aquaman's going to do something stupid.
Yeah, 12 hours from now, it's going to turn out Lucius Fox was selling, extremely intelligent weapons to the Canadians or something. So
to the Canadians,
something else will come up and we'll forget about it. And so what Ryan said is very admirable, but it's going to get you in a lot more trouble than just denying and pretending it didn't happen.
It's all about respect.
That's good. I thought I had some other questions, but I think it's time. I'm going to let you all give me your closing statements. Give me that rah-rah speech right at the end to push you over the edge.
All right, I'm going to go first here. Now, I would like to tell the citizens of this great new country that, we're coming from humble beginnings. We're coming from a spot where we have no respect. We have no wealth. We're a fledgling nation. And while the other party across the aisle is selling this hopeful message of a respectable country that you can be proud of, it's going to be hard to be proud of something that has no power, has no real place in the world, and is not feared by other nations, which is why we need to elect Bruce Wayne in the DC universe. Now, I know what you're saying. You're going to say, look, I don't feel right about this. It doesn't feel like the direction that we should go in. But you know what? I would love to see a big tax break. I would love to see our GDP grow. I would love to see us performing better than every other country, regardless of the circumstances. Listen, once we get to the top, we can get back to all that hopeful stuff, all that being proud and patriotic and kind and generous. But that's going to come later after we take over the world and we run things. So you shouldn't be electing Captain America. He's captain of a country that's not even this new one. He's respected there, but is he respected here? What did he do for us? So that's why you need to join with the DC universe and take our rightful place atop the world order. Thank you.
That's
all
good.
Right. There's some applause, and then the real candidate walks on stage with his platform. Listen, citizens, you heard from that man, and he is not going to lead you in the direction that you want to go. He talks of having to go the rough route, having to go the dark alleys to get to the bright morning. But I don't believe that's true. Countries are built on hope. The best movements start from the bottom. They are grassroots movements. And in order to do that, you need to build relationships based on respect, based on honesty. We are going to. That is rude. I did not interrupt you.
DCU.
Can you kick him out? I'm gonna have to kick him out.
Those are the paid protesters that we hired to come and interrupt your speech. Now get back on track. Try to get back on track after we paid all those protesters to come in and interrupt you.
Sabotage. Captain America is the man that we need at this time, at this turning point. Captain America is going to make the hard choices, but he's going to do it with the right heart. He will never lose his conviction. He will never lose his way because he is a true natural-born leader. Bruce Wayne is going to try to lead this country through the muck to get to the victory. And we are not going to do that. We are going to keep our hands clean. We are going to face our problems head on, just like the great democracy experiment once. Vote for Captain America and this Marvel universe, and we will build a strong country from the ground up.
That was good.
The paid protesters are back.
Both of those were very good, while both very different. You guys give me a lot to think about.
I'm glad we went in different directions.
I'm still reeling over paid protesters, but
factor that in.
It comes down to experience I've had with government prior to this, and the experience I want to have moving forward. And I'll be honest, Josh, your government sounds good. Your government sounds good. The only problem is it sounds like the government we have now. And that's not good. Now, it's hard to turn over my country to someone who heckles the same people in the country to try to get the position. Ryan?
That's right.
The MCU is good, but it has its problems.
It does. Yep. But they're willing to face the problems.
Some of the picks, I don't know if they're kids. And I wonder, I mean, even T'Challa is a kid. He may be a king, but he's a child. He's in his maybe 18, 20, something like that. He's young.
Wait, is this going to be, all right, is this going to be a draw?
I don't know. I'm really torn. I just want what's best for my people. And, after much deliberation, I'm going with Marvel.
Yeah! No! All right. Nope. And Ryan is on the board.
Yes. Josh, you were close. Heckling the people you're trying to get to vote for you.
You thought it was going to push you over the edge, but it pushed you back.
Well, I would like it. Nope. I don't know if that's going to get many votes.
I would disagree. I just launched the DC News Network, and they are saying everything that is wrong with the Marvel universe 24/7. And I feel like next election rolls around. I've already called voter fraud. This is a travesty. I think not even out of this universe that we've created. I think Joe just didn't want me to tie him, and so I'm calling shenanigans. I'm just going to say it.
Oh, he went there.
That's fine.
That is the most sacred thing to mention right there.
I will listen. In my role with the DC universe, I'm willing to break rule number 1 of this podcast, which is to never call shenanigans. So,
well, you can call whatever you want. Losers talk, winners walk.
That's right.
Whatever. Listen. I'll be back next time, and I'm going to win. Clearly, the lack of Rick Rat really hurt me this week, so I'm sure you will be back in the future. You were going
with Rick Rat forever, so you got to bring him back.
I broke my promise. Yeah, I made a mistake. He should have been Secretary of State.
All right. I think that's going to do it for us. I would like to thank anybody who's listening. We really appreciate it. As always, you can send us your picks with TMIWPod, the hashtag. So tell us who you would pick for your Marvel or DC government. We'd love to hear it and we can tell you why you're wrong. I would also like to thank Isle of 8 for the use of our theme song, Jean Jacket. You can find them on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere you find good music.
Yeah, no kidding. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tell Me I'm Wrong Pod. On all of those, please give us a follow.
TMIW Pod.
TMIW Pod on all those. Give us a follow. Find us on Spotify, iTunes. Subscribe, rate and review, 5 stars. Don't do anything less than 5 stars because that's just mean. 5 stars. And we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm just going to encourage you to head over to tmiwpod.com. You can sign up for our mailing list there. We're going to start sending out some emails soon, keeping you up to date on everything happening in the TMIW universe. Also, if you wouldn't mind, share the podcast with your friends. Tell them about us. Let them know that you found this cool new podcast, and you'll be the coolest person on the block the second you introduce them to Tell Me I'm Wrong. So just shoot them a link. Let them listen to us talk about getting the sex talk or telling scary stories or making up fake governments. Whichever one you liked most, send it over to them. Get them hooked. It'll be great.
All right. As always, there is one winner but we're all losers. Later, losers.
See ya.
Go Kate.